What's going on, people? It's your man, the YB, back once again. So, we got an update on the Eubank versus Conor Benn pay-per-view numbers. Here we go. Eddie Hearn said, "We are very close to 1 million buys in the UK. It will take a while for them to trickle in. Well over 1 million worldwide. DAZN did extremely well. Sky Sports is obviously a great platform as well." Now, I'm not going to lie. These numbers... well, let me give you some context here. I just typed in UK pay-per-view numbers. Can you believe this? AJ versus Parker from TalkSport did 1.96 million pay-per-view buys. That shows you... I've honestly thought this Eubank versus... Ben fight in UK wise was going to be probably close to AJ's best one. This shows you how phenomenal the AJ's numbers are. Now, we do know also that AJ's a heavyweight, which always carries some weight, but even some of these random ones, look, these are AJ's top 5. Where are we? AJ versus Ruiz 2, 1.57 million. AJ versus Charles Martin, 1.37 million. These are UK buys only as well. AJ versus Povetkin, like, really? 1.24 million. So it's kind of crazy. Then again, AJ was like a unified world champion. To be fair, these two dudes, Eubank has lost at world level and been somewhat inactive. Really, it's not like he's been red on it. Ben never been nowhere near a world title fight or even he hasn't got no world level opponents. So. Actually, with that context, name me when has someone done 1 million buys and never fought for world championship before? This is blowing the record. I don't think it's ever been done before, to be honest. I'd put big money. There's never been a pay-per-view before from 2 non-world title holders. Fact. Now, obviously, AJ now he's lost his belt. It's a bit different, but former champion. Yeah, I can't think of even half of them. And let's now compare that as well. Let's see what Froch versus Groves 2 pay-per-view numbers. That'll be a good gauge. Yeah, 900k, bang on it. And I actually think, when did that happen? 2014? I actually think that the internet back in 2014 was a bit dead. There wasn't the freedom of information where you can find the Moody links, but there wasn't as much Moody streaming is what I'm saying. So most people back in 2014 would have actually bought it. There wouldn't have been no knockoff. Internet's, they call it download speeds, was dead. Tell a lie, YouTube was knocking around. But anyway, man, you get the point. There's no way there was as many Moody sites, reliable Moody sites like there are now to watch it. So more or less everyone who wanted to watch Fox vs. Groves would have had to have bought it. So in this new era of the internet streaming and the Moody websites, Eubank and Ben have beat Froch versus Groves. 2 non-world title holders. At the same time, they're trading off their dad's name. But even that, though, who would have... I heard that Steve Collins beat Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank Sr. His son was boxing or something. But for some reason, Eubank and Ben just... They captured... the zeitgeist. Steve Collins, who beat them both, I didn't even know him until he was on TalkSport, to tell the truth. Never heard of him a day in my life. I didn't know his son was boxing kind of thing, or had boxed, or something like that. So yeah, all in all, would I say mixed bag? Well, why were my expectations so high? Maybe I don't know. But yeah, million pay-per-view, what's that? $20 a piece? 1 million worldwide. So 1 million worldwide. And apparently there'll be another 20%, 25% over the next 2 weeks. We know that because it said here, where is it? Oh, come on, man. Broadcasters Audience Research Board revealed that Sky Sports box office generated 1.28 million buys and a further 300,000 buys over the next 2 weeks. So you get about a 25% inflation or hike as more numbers come in and or people buy it not to watch it live. So we're looking at about, well, it'll be over 1 million for sure UK buys when it's all said and done. The rematch, I think the way the first fight went, not that I want to see a rematch at 160, like I've said for the last few days, unless it comes out, which there is some evidence of. Ben Chalong said that Eubank was injured or something like that. He implied it. If there wasn't an injury, and that was all Eubank had, I don't want to see a rematch. Because Ben only wins because Eubank shot, old, and dehydrated. Yeah? That's the only way he'll win. And if that's not the case, let him rehydrate. Fight at 160. I'd be for fighting at 164, but at least fight at 160 without a rehydration clause. Yeah? That's what you need to do. But the rematch, given how the first fight went, I think it'll probably do similar numbers. In fact, it may even be bigger. Before this fight took place, the speculation was trading almost purely off of the father's legacy. Now, we can argue whether they've made their own massive legacy or not. Be that as it may, a rematch, we've got something to talk about now. The fight was high level for kind of casual fans. It had the hearty elements to it. It wasn't a complete stinker. It wasn't a stinker at all. It had the drama of Ben getting his head rocked off and whatever else. So I'd probably think the rematch would do better, to be honest. I was good as it. I don't think it will, for some rematches, fall off. I think. Let me think of an example. Fury and Wilder, maybe. I'm not sure that even fell off though. Maybe rematches don't fall off. Let's have a look if we can find Wilder versus Fury 2 pay-per-view. Let's compare it to number 3. About 850,000 buys. The second fight did. Let's see what the third fight did. Oh yeah, the rematch with Fury and Wilder. The numbers skyrocketed. It went from 325,000 in the first fight to 800,000. Let's see what the third fight did. We know Froch and Groves 2 did better numbers. The third fight did 600,000 buys in the States. So yeah, I mean, there's not massive evidence that pay-per-view buys will fall off in a rematch. And given the circumstances of how good the fight was, how dramatic the fight was, I don't think the fight was high level, if I'm honest. Ben was just hopping around and dodging shots that weren't there. I think Eubank had a chance to make it high quality, but he's dehydrated. And it looked like there was some problem in there. And he had nothing left. Eubank would have turned it into a schooling session. It'd have taken him to school, seriously. That's how it was looking. You saw the rounds. Don't play with me. You saw rounds 4, 5, 6, 7. It was looking like a schooling was coming. Ben was slowing down. He had nothing left himself. And then Eubank's legs just blew out. He blew a gasket in his legs and that was it. Yeah. But the drama, yeah, I think the pay-per-view, not that it matters as well, because they don't even get pay-per-view buy-ins. From what I've heard, Turkey paid them both around 10 mil, so you're looking at a 20 mil spend. I think this might be one of Turkey's profitable ventures. He pays them 20. The pay-per-views do around 20 mil. Plus you got the seat tickets. So Turkey's probably a little bit in the green, but he does a lot of promotion and that's expensive. But yeah, this is one of the first ones you can sit there and say, for example, let's assume he paid Usyk and Fury. I don't think it was 100 mil. They say it was that, but that seems ridiculous. But let's call it 50 mil. If he paid Usyk and Fury 50 mil each, you've got 100 mil off. You haven't even started yet. You got 100 mil cost. How many pay-per-views would you need to sell for $20 a piece? 5 million pay-per-views. So he lost money bigly on that. All these type of fights, and we're underselling how much they got paid. They say it was 100 mil each. Well, he lost even more then. He'd need 10 million pay-per-views to pay him 100 mil each. He never got nowhere near that. So this might be... Listen, Turkey says he doesn't always want to be... His endeavour is to bring boxing into something, or to make boxing something like football, where there's heaps of money sloshing around. He wants to, at some point, start making money, and this looks like it might be the first one. So he's definitely going to want to spam this again. And it makes sense why Turkey's come out and said, "Yep, we're doing the rematch in September." Although we know it was already contracted, to be fair, but still. Yeah, let me know your thoughts, people. Smash the like button, subscribe, like with the bell, 100%. There's no doubt about this, some people stop it. But